Well, good news, Sony ponies. The PlayStation 5 has sold 80.3 million units worldwide. It is, and in the follow-up tweet right here from Genki, the PlayStation 4 sold $82.3 million at the same point in their timeline. So the PS5 is only 2 million behind the PS4 when time aligned. And I've seen another chart that is out there, and the PS5 right now sits at the 11th best-selling console of all time, behind, a bunch of Nintendo consoles. And I think the 360 as well, and the other 4 PlayStation consoles as well. So congratulations to them. That's fantastic stuff, and it really looks like they have a very strong chance of overtaking, I think, the 10th place. It might be the Game Boy Advance. I can't quite remember exactly what it was, but yeah, the PS5 is definitely within striking distance, especially if it's going to be Sony's flagship console for the next couple of years. It looks to be easy pickings within the within about 5 million consoles, if I've got that right. But yeah, they definitely have the room to grow in that direction, and the only thing that can stop Sony from cracking the top 10 with the PS5 is Sony. And they kind of look to be doing that, as Sony is raising the PlayStation 5 price amid stock surge. Why in the blue fuck are you doing this? Because yeah, as brought up and was a great point. And I don't know, man, if you guys remember this stuff, remember when like companies used to do fun marketing campaigns instead of being like Cracker Barrel and fucking tanking your reputation? Sony, like back in the cut, these were the premier ads. Okay, they were hilarious and great stuff. Like marketing wasn't always cringe, and it wasn't always pandering to women. It's like Sony and a lot of the gaming industry used to understand their audience. So yeah, when PlayStation comes out and goes, oh yeah, right, okay, like even just going back to, when was this, like 2009 or something like that? Holy shit. But yeah, back when they would take a look and go, oh yeah, the PS3, you remember when it launched at $599? Yeah, eventually it would go down to, I think that was probably with the redesign of the Slim. I think that makes sense on that one. But yeah, the Kevin Butler ads, that was the guy's name. But anyways, yeah, he was the CEO, or I'm sorry, yeah, the chief executive officer of whatever. But yeah, they would drop it down to $299, hearing that, oh yeah, it kind of stifled our lead and stifled our early sales by launching at such a high price. They had somewhat legitimate reasons for launching at that, because yeah, they had the installed Blu-ray player, some of their architecture on the inside, like they had physical chips in order to emulate PS2 games, but you kind of brought that on yourselves. It's like you could have refined that and you could have done something else with it. But for whatever reason, you had the different memory cards and flash disk readers, 4 USB ports on a game console. That was wild stuff. I actually have one of the 80 gig PS3s. Unfortunately, mine ran afoul of what ended up happening with a lot of those early PS3s, and it got too hot, and I think the board ended up getting cooked. But yeah, I might drag it out and try to rehab it, see if I can't resolder something. Because, just having a easily accessible PS2 at the ready and a PS3 and a PS1 all rolled in together, it's like for $599 you would actually get value. Okay, you could kind of kink your neck to the side and justify that price point, but raising the price on a PS5, it's like, bro, what the fuck? Okay, after you guys just got laughed out the building, 8 months ago when you launched that pathetic PS5 Pro? What are you doing? You could have looked like the good guys, because as it sits right now, and something that we're going to have to talk about in the near future, Nintendo is even walking back their $80 price point games, mostly because the one that they launched, Mario Kart World is fucking dead. And some of those Nintendo simps that are out there, oh, Mario Kart World isn't dead. Okay, I just hopped into a random game lobby, and I could immediately get, and I started a race with 20 racers. Well, what's a full lobby? 24. Okay, cool. So you couldn't even fill up a lobby, and that's supposed to be a big gotcha. Fantastic stuff. The game has only been out for 2 fucking months and it's already dead. Oh yeah, okay, Donkey Kong Bonanza looks good, and I hear that it's reviewing exceedingly well. People are enjoying it, but they've already moved on. And what's your next big follow-up? Oh great, a Pokemon game that everybody's already laughing at for looking completely and totally outdated. You've got rumors that the Elden Ring, oh guys, we're getting big third-party support. This definitely isn't like the Wii U all over again. Oh yeah, Elden Ring runs like dog shit on the PS2. Well, it would probably run better on a fucking PS2 at this point in time. But on the Switch 2, yeah, you're getting dog shit performance. And I seen something else. Like I said, we're going to have to talk about the Switch 2 and how it's absolutely fucking failing right now in real time. Yeah, it can run Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. What is it? At 8 10p at 30 FPS. This is 2025, ladies and gentlemen, quote unquote, brand new technology. What a goddamn joke. But at least those are games that you can play on the Switch too. The PS5, that's fuck all. Like I bought one. It's a launch PS5. I got it secondhand, obviously, to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I don't really regret it, but that's the only game that I played on it. Like I got my 300 hours out of the PS5 copy of Rebirth, and I got another 100 hours on the PC copy, but I'm never going to be going back to the PS5 unless, of course, you know, Part 3, which I very much think we're going to be getting a tease for at the Game Awards at the end of the year, okay? And I'm going to lose my mind if it ends up happening, and I think it's going to be called Reclaim. I've got my reasons to that, but I digress. That would be about the only reason that I would turn on and not sell a PS5 is if it's exclusive to that, because if it's going to be multi-platform, I might just get like a PS copy of the collector's edition and keep it sealed, and get the PC copy of the game. You know, just cut out the middleman. Because after like a week, well, not even that, and then just a couple of days out on the market, modders had that game running perfectly, and it's just fired up Final Fantasy 15 for my second playthrough since launch, and it's weird. Just to continue on my sidebar here, I played through 16 about at the beginning of the summer. Fucking hate that game. Final Fantasy, we're talking right here. And then I just recently completed my platinum run through of Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age, and yep, still hate that game. Fucking trash. The music's decent, and I do like some of the art design, but those characters and that plot fucking stinks. And a lot of the side quests, god damn it, man, a lot of bloat. That for the people that say, oh, Rebirth and the remake trilogy has a lot of bloat. No. All of those hunts and a lot of those side quests, like going around trying to match up people's fucking dialogue in the big capital city. What are you doing? It's just like 16, how you could basically streamline that story to get to the end of the narrative, but instead of going from A to B, you go from A to B to C to D to E to F to G to finally you get to the end of it, where instead of this, you know, nicely contained family drama, you have to go fight God. Oh my god, it's so fucking dumb. But yeah, that 12, at least you don't fight God, but you fight some kind of stupid, corrupted entity that's... he was interesting to begin with, but then he just goes off the rails. I fucking hate 12. I've hated it for a long time, and I just wanted to refresh my memory. It's like, maybe it's not as bad as it... No, it's as bad as I remember. Not any worse than I remember, but definitely not better than I remember. But where was I? All right, yeah. Playing through 15. Actually, like 15 a little bit more than I remember. That one's actually, I'm only a few hours into it, but it is coming together a little better than I remember. The characters, like the character work is a little bit better. The plot is still paper thin, and the world is still very sparse, but at least the combat is fun. It's not like, oh, press square to win. Yeah, I just love mashing buttons like 16 was. But yeah, 15, it's just 16 is such a strict downgrade on all of the other games, 12 and onward, and they just learned all the wrong lessons. But like I said, I'm going back and I'm playing those old Final Fantasy games because the new stuff that's coming out, with the exception of Clair Obscur Expedition 33, I'm just waiting for a good sale on it, to be completely honest, because I do want to play the game. It's just, I'm gonna wait a little while longer. I got a good back catalog of games to play, but the ones that I'm playing, yeah, are like 10 years old, with the exception of 16, and I think 15 is, oh god, it's not quite that old, but getting close. Getting damn close. So why does Sony think that they can justify a price hike? Yeah, people have theoretically bought your console. 80 million units are out there. I guess it's true. You have the receipts. I don't believe him. Sony has confirmed that the PlayStation 5 console will be getting a price hike in the United States starting, today. Oh no, I guess that would be yesterday, right? August 21st, citing a challenging economic environment as the reason. But with Sony Group Corporation stock up more than 70% in the past 5 years, many gamers are questioning whether the move is truly about economic pressure or just another example of the corporations cashing in on loyal consumers. Yeah, exactly. So the statement, similar to many global businesses. Which ones specifically? We continue to navigate a challenging economic environment. As a result, we've made the difficult decision to increase the recommended retail price for PlayStation 5 consoles in the United States. Yes, starting August 21st. The PlayStation 5 goes from $500 to $550. The digital goes from $540 to $500. And yes, a disk driveless PS5 Pro moves from $700 to $750. What a fucking joke. Absolute joke. But yes, Sony emphasizes that accessories will remain unchanged. So unlike earlier this year when Microsoft, and you just drag them in on this one, because you take a look at this, Xbox hardware architect reflects on the Series X and S as it wraps up Oh, okay, cool. So we're just about done with this generation? Or is it just Microsoft is kind of done, not just with this generation, but traditional consoles? Because I guess they're big excited about their upcoming handheld. I don't know, a lot of people are, but they're definitely moving towards, the whole Game Pass thing. But like Nintendo will have to dedicate something specifically to Microsoft, because they tried this earlier this year. And they also said that, hey guys, $80 games are going to be coming this holiday season. And then they just walked that back with Outer Wilds, because nobody's looking forward to that game. That was the dumbest game to try to artificially increase prices on. Something that a lot of Nintendo simps said that, oh, it's not going to happen to the rest of the industry. That's just because you're going to be getting so much value with Mario Kart World, but whatever. Long story short, for Sony, didn't work out for Microsoft, but you guys think you can do it better just because it's going to be on consoles? Okay. Sony, yes, points to economic strain. Its stock performances suggest the company is far from struggling. As of the 20th of August, Sony Group shares traded at $28.02, reflecting a 5-year return of nearly 78%. Investors have treated Sony as a company on solid footing, hardly one in dire need of squeezing out more revenue, out of its gamers. And the reason that, I brought up that commercial from earlier, by that point in time in its life cycle, by the time that the Slim was coming out, Sony had either closed the gap or had eclipsed Xbox 360 sales, because it was wild, right? Because if you were around during that time, like the Xbox 360 took off like a rocket, even with the red ring of death, nearly 50% of consoles succumbing to that illness. And they dominated the early part when, Sony was recovering from the $600 console. But eventually, they would drop their prices. They would have a brand new remodel, but instead of a nominal step up, they would fix some of the problems plaguing the console and drop the price precipitously. That ended up leading to them ending up winning that generation and leaving Microsoft in the dust. What is the PS5 brought so far? I don't know, like The Last of Us Part 2. Oh, but that's on PC now. Returnal, that's on PC. I'm legitimately struggling to think of any exclusive that is still on the console, and yet you haven't dropped the price, and instead you're increasing the price. Like, this isn't, okay, cool, we came out with a $500 console, and then, in a couple of years we dropped the price, okay, and now they're just bringing it back up in order to offset the tariff costs. No, this is just, we have a premium console, we're going to keep it at that price, you guys are going to buy it, so fuck off. But even going back to tariffs, okay, back in April, the Trump administration raised the reciprocal tariff rate on Chinese imports. Okay, Sony's a Japanese company, to 125% for many components used in the PS5 consoles come out of China. Well, that spike grabbed headlines. The administration later suspended the extra duties for 90 days to allow for negotiations. On August the 11th, the suspension was extended until the 10th of November 2025. All of this fear-mongering due to tariffs is exactly that. Corporate fucking great. And it's also laying the groundwork for Sony moving away from a platform business model. Moving to a platform rather, getting out of the hardware platform market and moving to a much more fluid industry where we can all just sing kumbaya and get together. Sony, as senior vice president Sadehiko Awakawa said, in the gaming business, we are moving away from the hardware-centric business model, more to a platform business that expands the community and increases engagement. So are they trying to do what Microsoft was trying to do earlier this year, softly getting out of the hardware market by cranking up costs and releasing their games on every other platform that'll have them? And if that's the case, why are they planning for a PlayStation 6? New specs and a new handheld, Canis, have been leaked. Alright, PlayStation 5 continues to smash, but we all know Sony is working hard behind the scenes on the PlayStation 6 and a PS6 handheld console, because you've got that, oh god, what does Sony call their handheld? The Portal? The PlayStation Portal. So is it going to be a handheld like that, or are they going in the direction of that stupid Microsoft Ally? Terrible name. But anyways, YouTube channel Moore's Law is dead. Okay, dropped a massive video on August 1st with information of how powerful the PlayStation 6 and PlayStation 6 handheld are, with potential price information. Okay. PS6 early leak, brutal price below PS5 Pro. Okay. Anyone remember the PlayStation 4 was a console that made the choice not to go all out on specs so it could have a mass market appeal? Yeah, after the previous generation left some people feeling burned with how expensive it was. Yeah, because that was hilarious. God damn it, man. I really do miss E3, as it used to be fun and kind of cringe on occasions, but you would never get that type of hype. It was definitely gamers' Christmas. In the summer, it would be a point in time where you would set aside 2+ hours for Microsoft and Sony. They would have their conferences. Nintendo, when they would do a stage show, you would just get ready for whatever fucking unintentional cringe memes would come along, and you would hope that Ubisoft, they would just go ahead and hype up and outright lie about their upcoming releases, and EA would, waste half of their conference on sports games. But every once in a while, man, like, it used to be fun. And we all remember E3 2013 when the Xbox One came out and Don Matrick fucking punted that bitch into the seats so far, never to return. Both the launch of the Xbox One and his career went fucking sideways on that one when they said, oh yeah, you get the Kinect and you get all this shit for $500. Great stuff on that one. And then later in the day, the PS4 would come out and, oh yeah, we're going to be $100 cheaper. Lol. That was reactionary as all hell. You know it. I know it. They have never confirmed it, but it's like, come on, man. But now, because everybody's working together, now we can just fuck over the consumer instead of playing into competition. So the channel believes that Sony is targeting a mid-2027, specifically fall of 2027, early 2028 release for both the PS6 and its handheld compatriot. So yeah, apparently some of the leaked specs, okay, the chiplet design, I mentioned possibly using a Navi 5 desktop chiplets, backwards compatibility with 4 and 5, okay, no mention of 3, because they probably want to get them on whatever they're calling their streaming service or their subscription service for the games that people really want to play. Heavy emphasis on cost constraints and keeping power lower than the PS5. Okay, like to the wall power. Okay, manufacturing plan for mid 2027, likely fall of 7 or early 8, and a whole bunch of tech shit like that. I've seen other posts claim that the PS6 is going to have comparable performance to a 5080 graphics card. I was like, that's pretty good, but we're at such a standstill when it comes to graphical improvements. It's like, what exactly does that mean? Well, there's going to be more particles on screen. Fantastic. But when you're so heavily relying on a lot of AI upscaling to do your work for you, do we really need that type of performance? But anyways, handheld, yeah, going to have expansion slots. Hey, good for them, M.2, micro SD, USB-C port. Yeah, okay, for a video output. Okay, so yeah, it's going to be a portable yet dockable handheld. So, okay, that's totally fine. We'll see, though. We'll see, because I would imagine there's probably going to be some tease. There's probably going to be some announcement. Definitely next year, okay? Next summer at the earliest or towards the end of the year. So we're still very much at the point in time where, yeah, the PS5 is going to have to continue to carry the day. But yeah, if greed is what is going to be on the menu for Sony and to a lesser extent Microsoft, as they just quietly shuffle themselves out of the market, and Nintendo has to deal with, well, whatever the fuck is going to be coming out, because how is it of your first 5 big releases, 2 of them are racing games that are heavily reliant on online capabilities, and Nintendo has been shit with online ever since they got into the market. But gaming, well, we've known it's been in trouble for a while. It's just, this is either going to compound the issue or it's going to be the point where it breaks the issue. Time will tell, I suppose. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.